Okay, there we go. First off, everyone, welcome to today's Listing Leads Masterclass. I'm thrilled to be here with my team today. We have a great session lined up for you. If you could do me a favor in the chat, just let us know, A, is it working? Where are you calling in from today? And we're going to get into some details here. We're just about a minute early, going to give everyone about 30 seconds here to jump on with us. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Lee, I know it feels official for many of us in the room right now because my kids now are officially back in school. So it feels like, now we get another 30 hours of work available to us. I know many people here can relate to that. So let me just set some things up here for us before we get started here. I want to maybe just give a really kind of high level overview of the agenda today, and then we'll get into some of the thoughts we have. I'm going to go over some kind of key insight that I think is important for everyone on today's call to know. I'll talk about some housekeeping items as well, that things that I think are important to you that you should be aware of. I'm going to pass it to Hannah and to Lee to kind of go through some of the listing leads essentials, things that you should know. I know for many of you right now, the reason you're on this call is either you have just signed up for listing leads or you've been with us for a while and you're wanting to make sure the next 120 days is going to be the best 120 days of your business. So we want to make sure by the end of today's call, you've got yourself dialed in. We're like, okay, cool. I've got this product and it's got this community and I see all the success stories. I want to be that next person. And we want to put you in the best position to do so. Let me start by saying this. Many people don't know this. I think it's a really important part of our story that everyone here should know. So back in 2023, Tom Ferry and I were working on a project together, and I called him up and I said, this is the summer of 23. I said, listen, I think Q4 of 23 is going to be an incredibly challenging quarter. I talk to agents every day. Many of them at the time were telling me, Jimmy, this is maybe the most difficult or the worst kind of quarter I've had in my business. So we worked together and collaborate on a program called the 100K and 100 Day program. And we put together a plan, hey, this is what we want to do every week. We organized it over the course of 100 days. And then we enlisted over 2,000 agents to participate in that program. And to my knowledge, this was the largest and most successful listing attraction experiment in history. We had 2,000 agents, many of whom had closed hundreds of thousands of dollars in business in that first 100 days. But what was the big Zen learning for us was we realized that if we can put together a plan for our members in our community, if we could say, hey, this is what we want you to do on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, if we can organize that, and we can do so with respect to realizing we have people who are in luxury markets, people who are in second home markets, people who have, let's say, not a lot of inventory, people who have a lot of inventory. If we could put together a plan that we know could work across all these markets, that we could add a ton of value and help our clients get more listings. And I see my friend Nick Shoemaker in the chat right now, who I just saw from stage at Summit, and she was a great example of this. We had a video with her a while back where she talks about them as our daily assignments, which I love. And yes, I am not in a sauna. This is actually a phone booth at a WeWork, just in case you guys are wondering right now. And so the inspiration for listing leads was born because we help thousands of agents close billions of dollars in business in 100 days. And we've run that program now a couple times, and we've had just incredible success with it. And so we know if we put together the right plan and we organize and we support you guys, we're going to put you in a position to be successful. So on that note, let's talk about, I think, a really important kind of insight, because today I'm going to talk about some of the learnings we've had. I'm going to, Hannah and Lee are going to dive into some marketing strategies and some of the listing leads essentials. But before we do any of that, I think that, we're going to cover a lot of material, but there are three things that I want you to be aware of. And I'll pull up my slides here so you can see this. There are three things I want you to be aware of. These are what I would call our guiding principles. If you're saying, Jimmy, I have done marketing before in the past, but I haven't had success with it. Or Jimmy, I haven't been consistent and therefore my results have been unpredictable. Or you're saying, Jimmy, I just want to make sure that I'm fully taking advantage of what you guys have built. And I want to stop sort of dabbling and actually start getting results? Well, the three principles that drive everything we do at Listing Leads is this. Number one, the agent who has the most conversations wins. Now, what's important about this, and you're going to see this in our approach, is that everything we do orients around this idea of helping you have more conversations. Number two is better marketing creates more conversations. If I can get you texting with the right scripts, emailing with the right content, posting videos with the right hooks, sending mailers that tap into people's emotional states and get them to raise their hands, I know I can get you to have more conversations. Now, all of this hinges on this basic idea. Everything I'm talking about hinges on this basic idea that results come from a repetition. People always ask me, Lee, they say, Jimmy, what's like the best listing leads campaign you guys have? And listen, I've got favorites. Don't get me wrong. I've got favorites. But what I know to be true is that it's not going to be a single campaign that's going to drive results. Rather, it's attending a webinar like this, training with Hannah, training with Lee, getting comfortable with the platform, understanding that no, it's not one email, but rather it's the fact that you now start consistently sending 3 emails per week. That's where the results begin to compound. So results come from repetition. So as you think about the campaigns we create for you, just keep those big 3 things in mind. Number one, the agent who has the most conversations is going to win. Number two, having more conversations starts with better marketing. And number 3, the reason we have a weekly plan and a daily assignment, not a monthly plan or a quarterly plan, is because we want you to say every day, we're trying to get you to do something that moves that ball forward. Now, before we dive into one last housekeeping item here, let me pull my screen up. I want to make sure everyone saw this because we just released this tool recently. And I just want to make sure everyone who's on today's call takes advantage of this. So if you haven't done so already, you'll notice in Listing Leads, what you'll see, and I'll pull it up real quick so you can see this. Every week we have what we consider to be the deal of the week. It's kind of the essential part of our weekly campaigns. So every Monday you'll see deal of the week. Now, some of our clients, to be fair, will execute that on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. But the number one question we got was, how do I identify the best deal? We just released a brand new free tool from Listing Leads. It's at automate.listingleads.com/deal. And so, Lee, if you want to drop a link in the chat for that.
Got it. It's there.
Thank you, Lee. You're going to see that you can use this tool to find the best deal in your area. So I'll go ahead and type in, of course, with New Hampshire. I'll look for a price range. Let me go ahead and click on Find Your Deal of the Week. We'll analyze the market. We'll analyze the price points. We'll analyze the homes in the last 7 days. And we'll find homes that have the highest save rate. Now, we are using Zillow's data right now because Zillow's data is the most used product on the planet. So we're using the most viral listings on Zillow. So this is an example of this home. It's the number one deal, has a 5% save rate, which means that every person who looks at this home, 5% of them will actually save the property. This has almost 3,000 views and 146 saves. Now, the beauty is, I'll come in here and you can see the details of this, right? You can see the listing. We actually can write the email for you. You can see here, I'm going to zoom out for a second so you can see this a little better. You can see we have this auto write an email. See that button right there? If you click on that, we will actually, using the listing lead framework, we'll go ahead and create an email that you can copy and paste and send. And so not only will we identify the best property, like you see here, and we'll suggest a few more if you don't like that one, we'll actually auto write the email. So when you look at the listing leads plan, the deal of the week here, we now have a free tool that you can use to basically simplify this process, probably save you 30 minutes easily and help you execute that campaign. Notably, just a quick plug here, Lee, we will be offering this as a pro service where we can just automate everything for you in the future. So if you actually want to, if you're like, hey, Jimmy, I love this tool, but I just want you guys to do it for me, just click on that join waitlist button and we'll get you on the deal of the week automation plan. That's going to be part of our sort of future product releases.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee. Last thing, this one's really big. This one's really big. And this, by the way, if you guys, I want to give Lee and Hannah their flowers because they collaborated on this idea, and I think it's a brilliant idea. In the chat right now, let me know how many of you need more accountability. Just say yes in the chat right now. How many of you just need more accountability? Yes in the chat right now. Look, Hannah, look at that. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So normally we have the listing leads basics training, which is what we're going to cover today, making sure that you're read up on how to use the product, cover the platform. But what we also realized that we think there's a huge opportunity for us to execute the plan together. And what our plans are, we're now launching a new weekly call called the Campaign Kickoff Call. And the Campaign Kickoff Call is going to be where it's going to be a Zoom meeting where we spend an hour together, literally going through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the plan. And we help you or your assistant or your marketing person go through and actually execute it live on the call with us. So, what we're asking for is 1 hour of your time. Now, the beauty of this is that if you got questions, if you're stuck, if you need to triage something, if you're feeling like, hey, I don't know which list to send this to, guess what? Send us all of your questions. We'll literally answer them in real time. So for everybody who says like, hey, Jimmy, I like, let me know, like, would you attend one of these calls? Would you attend one of these calls? Just let us know. Drop in the chat right now. Because our goal is to say, listen, marketing is so mission critical to your business. Give us 1 hour. We'll get your text scheduled, your email scheduled, we'll get your social media scheduled. We'll make sure that we're doing the direct mail campaigns, everything that we can do to make sure that we're doing it together as a community. And the beauty is, and you saw this already, Lee, we talked about at the beginning, is results come from repetition. If your assistant, your admin, your marketing person jumps in on this call, we'll execute it together and we will answer those burning questions so you don't get stuck. All right. So on that note, I'm going to stop sharing. We got, by the way, another huge announcement at the end of today's call. But I just want to first thank everyone for being a part of today's session. I cannot wait for you guys to be a part of today's session and the future campaign kickoff, which is, by the way, Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, we're starting on next Monday as the first week, correct?
Correct. 6 days from today. I just dropped a link in the chat to register.
Okay. We'll drop a link in the mastermind group as well, but in the chat,
Yes.
you guys can see Lee just dropped that link. Make sure you click on that link, register for that as well. All right. So on that note, many of you probably already know Hannah, have met Hannah. Hannah and I have been working together now for over a year at Listing Leads. She has really blossomed into the role as our chief trainer here at Listing Leads. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Hannah so she can get you guys dialed in on the essentials, and I'll jump in here with Lee for some color commentary.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you, Jimmy. So I'm Hannah, again, the chief trainer here at Listing Leads. And like Jimmy said, today is all about getting you confident, clear, and set up to actually execute. We've helped over 4,000 agents run consistent marketing campaigns to attract listings. And here's what we've learned. There are only 3 marketing channels that truly move the needle. And we call them, or Jimmy likes to call them, the big 3. So the big 3 are email, text, and direct mail. So that email is going to be that value first communication. The text are the personal follow-ups with those engaged leads. And then direct mail is just going to give you that authority and trust in your farm. And before we get into the meat of today's session, I do want to walk you through just a few tidbit things on the platform. But I also want to give the opportunity to Lee to introduce himself to you guys. And I'm going to work on sharing my screen and getting that all set up for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. I'm super happy to be on and happy to be the new guy on the team. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been in the real estate world since 2006, worn all the hats from a solo agent to running a team, operationally running a team, broker owner, all that good stuff. But really been focused on operations and training, and super excited to be a part of the team. And look at that beautiful pop-up right in platform for the session you're on currently. But I just wanted to say, hey, appreciate you guys. We're working hard to get you guys more training and more information so you can best leverage the platform. So let me throw it back to you, Hannah. Run down some basics. Jimmy and I will dig through some details, and then we'll send you guys off.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to just kind of move a few things around on my screen. Gotta love Zoom. Things are always in the spot that you don't need them to be. But okay, so before we dig into the weekly content, I want to show you guys just a few things on the platform. And the first one being this little toggle here. So as you can see, this little bubble that has United States in it, if you click that, this is going to allow you to select your market. So this is going to give you it's going to allow you to target your market to get that tailored marketing strategies and content for your specific area. So right now we have the option between United States and Canada, and all you do is click which one that you are located in. I'm going to keep mine on United States because if you can't tell right now, you will be able to tell by the end of the call that I am in Alabama. That's where I'm from. So I'm going to keep mine on United States, and then all you do is hit apply. And again, that just tailors all of our marketing strategies and content for your specific area. So I'm going to do that. The next thing I wanted to show you guys is this little circle with a question mark inside of it. If you will click that, this opens up our help center. And this just has really, really good information in it, tons of questions and answers. Billing, obviously, creator plan, the Canada content, like I mentioned, all of our integrations, just really good info in there. And then underneath that, if you come over here to the left-hand side, underneath the Help Center, we have all of our training videos here for you guys. I know y'all don't have a ton of free time. I'm honestly really, really glad that you guys took the time out of your day to come and be on this with us. But if you do find yourself with some free time, come to this little training videos tab and watch some of these videos. These are really, really good. Underneath that, we have the company updates tab. And this is just where we'll drop things from time to time, big updates within the Listing Leads platform, things we're doing for you guys. And then underneath that, we have our support tab. We have a walkthrough of the Listing Leads platform that you can go back and watch as well. And then some helpful resources. Underneath that, some walkthrough videos on how to execute some of our campaigns using Canva to edit those templates. And then on the right-hand side, of course, if you still have questions, feel free to reach out to our support team because they are literally the best. Let me navigate back to the home page. And there's one other thing I want to show you guys. So we had people trying to locate our blueprints. Those are like a really, really big hit within the Listing Leads platform. So we decided to make a tab specifically for our blueprints. So if you'll look over here on the left-hand side, there is a blueprints tab. You click that. And again, this is where all of our blueprints can be found. And as new ones drop, those will land in here as well. And that is all of the little website things that I wanted to go over today. And I think
Hannah, if I could just jump in real quick on the blueprints, because I want to make one quick comment there. Could you just click on the blueprints again for me?
of course.
One thing that I recommend here is, especially right now if you're watching, once you get a little bit more comfortable with executing the weekly plan, and you go from, let's say, like we take the training wheels off, you start training the accountability calls, you're feeling great. Once you hit that point, that's when I want you looking at some of the more advanced blueprints that we put together. And so for us, whether it's like the 90-day social media plan as an example, we know social media can be a massive driver for your growth. Hannah, click on that for me if you could. If we know the 90-day social media plan can be a massive driver for your growth, I don't want you starting here. I want you starting, as Hannah mentioned, with the big three, getting really comfortable with this. But this plan, this blueprint here, this is a combination of analyzing over like 1,500 of the best creators in real estate, looking at what the top performing posts are, identifying what the best Instagram stories are. And so if you're like, hey, Jimmy, I now have some time and resources where I can dedicate towards like leveling up my marketing, and you feel really good about the weekly plan, then absolutely add in the social media, add in the expireds, add in maybe the silver tsunami. But I would say I want to give a quick pro tip here, which is I want you to do that once you get really good at following the weekly plan. Not before then, but once you get really good at following the weekly plan, you're gonna get really comfortable with it. Then I would say add in one of the blueprints. And oh, by the way, I mean we published, I think, Hannah, now 6 blueprints this past year. We obviously going to continue to publish them. I mean, these are killer strategies that work. I think Scott, our friend Scott Burrows had like me, I think got 15 listings this year from the FISBO. We interviewed him for that session, all the materials in there. Many of you who are doing the expired marketing, you already know how effective that is. We got that in there. Social media, obviously, we're experts in. So I would just advise you get the plan dialed in, and then when your confidence level is a little bit higher, then I would recommend adding in one of the blueprints. Back to you, Hannah.
Sure. And speaking of the weekly plan, the listing attraction plan is exactly that. This is your weekly marketing plan that you can count on every single week. Monday through Friday, we're going to give you something that you can use. And these are going to help you get listings now and build your pipeline for the future. And like I said, Monday through Friday, there's something is going to be here for you to post. But the main thing that we want to talk to you guys about today is the big 3. And before we get into the big 3, I think there are a few things that Lee and Jimmy want to touch on, just as far as CRM, segmentation tips go. So I'm going to toss it over to Lee. Uh-oh, I think you're muted, Lee.
I was, and it was yelling at me, but it wasn't smart enough to hit spacebar. And I'll keep answering your questions. I appreciate all the questions in the chat and the Q&A. I'll keep after those as we go. But just wanted to talk real quick, high level, CRM segmentation, and get Jimmy's thoughts on some of this. You know, number one, done is better than perfect. Certainly, I hope you have your past clients and sphere organized already in some sort of system. And third, you know, sometimes we say everybody, but I want to be clear, we're talking about your database, people that want to communicate with you. So we really obviously are focused on leads, prospects, things that have come in, but we've greatly simplified this with listing leads. Our goal is for you to have technically 2 primary buckets, one of them, the third one being the combination of the other 2. So having your sphere and past clients, people that know you. This is different messaging. This is different semantics to people that you've met and worked with that know you versus your prospect list. The prospect list, a lot of times, are shorter. It's a quick call to action. Just, hey, are you a real person? Do you want to talk to me? So having those 2 segments is really important. And then you'll see we've got an everyone segment that we're working to change the language on. That just means it's good for prospects and sphere. Jimmy, anything you want to add to that? I wanted to keep it super simple, but at a high level, that's what we're looking for here. Database.
Well, one of the things that, Hannah, if you want to click on today's campaign, this email, like one of the things that I know to be true is that when I look at the average agent or team's database, there are 1,000 tags, 1,000 stages. It's just like, it's this constant thing that you guys struggle with and really try to manage. And that creates friction in the process. We write and we create these emails to, especially specifically for emails, to really just say our goal is we know we're going to be sending a lot of emails, so we're never really pushing so hard where it's like it's going to turn people off. So your unsubscribe rate's not going to go up. One thing I want to give you an advice on is I want you sending more emails. I want you sending more emails every week, not fewer emails per week. And this is probably the biggest challenge, Lee, is that, like, if you send 1 or 2 emails per month, you're just not getting enough at bats to build your call list, to generate the inbound opportunities. So this email, actually, if you want to scroll up real quick for me, Hannah, this email here, I just want to break this down for a second because this is going to be a perfect microcosm of the way we approach marketing at Listing Leads. So this email we wrote, how much equity have you gained this year? Now, in retail businesses, they call this key seasonal events, which is about 6 times a year. Retailers will announce some like end of year promotion, beginning of year promotion, spring into this season, or summer blowout sale. There's these kind of moments where you really should kind of re-enter into the conversation with your customers. And it's about having the right message with your right kind of emotional context. And so this one, which by the way is going to crush for you, how much equity have you gained this year? We did something really smart where we wrapped it. This is called value framing. We wrapped it up in value, which is by saying, I don't send an email like this often. That's me saying this is important. But I know a lot of my clients, especially recently, want to know how much equity they've gained this year. That's called using social norms. Meaning if I'm reading this, I'm saying, oh, maybe I should think about how much equity I've gained this year. And even though it takes some time to dig up the comps and analyze the sales and factor in the details that algorithms overlook, what we're saying there, by the way, is like Zillow is wrong. We are more accurate, but we're not being petty about it and saying Zillow's awful. We're just saying, hey, algorithms can overlook this. My clients always appreciate knowing what their home is worth. Would it be helpful if I prepared one for your home? This email, if you scroll down for me, Hannah, you'll see our advice on this email is we want you to send this to both your prospects and your clients. We want a bunch of people to raise their hand saying, yes, I would like a CMA. And the reason why is we know our friends at our fellow gave this data, roughly about 25% of all people who request a CMA transact within the next 12 months. Folks, the data is Tom Ferry and I were just at his annual event summit. He shares his data every year. I try to share it as well, which is we know 6 to 8% of your database is going to convert every year. We also know that 70 to 90% of those deals are going to another agent. This is an email. It's kind of a quintessential listing leads email. They were saying, hey, we want people to raise their hand. And so my advice on an email like this, Lee, is like, don't overthink it. You could either send this to your prospects or your clients. We recommend both. If you have a different opinion, totally fine. Just send it. Just get it out the door is the point.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. I think still, I always tell this joke, and maybe I shouldn't, but like people look at a blank page, have no idea what to do. You give them content and they're like, oh, I want to change this. So it's my voice, it's my market. These are deeply tested. I have a quick story I'll tell. I have been 12 years out of production. I still have people respond to old emails from more than 12 years ago. They're like, hey, we know you don't do this anymore, but who would you recommend to help us? The consistency, getting your name in there. The other story I have all the time is, when people do want to connect with you, a lot of times they're like, thank you so much for all your emails. I'm sorry we were so busy. So they're receiving them. You can see clicks and opens potentially depending on your CRM. A lot of intel happening here. This is not about getting an 80% response rate. This is about the people getting the right people at the right time saying, hey, you know what? Now I would like to talk to you. Thanks for all the great information.
That's exactly right. And I think, let me actually give you, we had a question there. It's a really important question, which is what happens if the equity has gone down, right? Or if home values are declining. We actually have this, but the subject line would just change to how has today's market impacted your equity? So I'll just drop that in the chat right now. We have it in the listing leads as well, which is how has the market impacted your equity? And so that's one small change to your subject line, but everything else stays exactly the same in the email. All right. So I know that's just one of the big three. So if we want to go into texting, we can dive into texting as well, Hannah.
Okay. Well, the other thing that I wanted to touch on about the big three, specifically for email, is that deal of the week email. We're going to give you guys that every single Monday. You're going to get the deal of the week email. And that is one that we recommend you send every single week. It's basically an email that says, here's a property I think is a great opportunity in today's market. It's very simple, it's to the point, and they work. So I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse at that email as well. That is the other. So we recommend you send 2 types of emails each week. The deal of the week email, which is this one here. And then we also recommend sending that value-based email of the week, which is the one that Jimmy just showed you guys. And honestly, some homework after today's session, send that email out. It's so easy. And I want to show you guys just a few little things about our email campaigns. Obviously, we went through, the get started things, setting up your lists, but we also recommend an email tool. But me and Lee are always saying, if you have a Gmail, you can send an email. You don't need a CRM. You don't need an email tool. If you have a Gmail, if you have an email platform, an email account, you can send these emails out. You don't have to have anything fancy. You can't hit send, or you can't send if you can't hit send. So have an email account. I know you guys do. You can send these out. Again, the plain text format, super important. But the how to execute section is the part that I really wanted to go over with you guys really quick. All of our emails are the same when it comes to the execute section. We have the subject line for you guys, and this is so easy to use. All you do is hit copy. This copy button here is going to automatically copy that subject line to your clipboard, and then you can go into your email platform, go into your email blast app, and paste that in there. And then again, the email content, same thing. Hit this copy button. It's going to copy it to your clipboard, paste it into your email platform. And one thing I wanted to mention, I know we have that new email tool that Jimmy told you guys about in the beginning of today's session. But one thing I do want to point out, if you are sending these emails manually or not using the tool, one thing to look out for is the bracketed information in this content block. That is information that you are going to want to change. We don't want to send out an email that has brackets for, property type, area. It happens. Okay. It happens. We don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you're changing those if you're not using the tool that Jimmy mentioned. And then we also give you the steps on how to transfer this email content to your email blast app. And then we're going to tell you who to send it to one more time so that you know that for sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on that.
Well, real quick too, Hannah, the thing I'll recommend there is, because we send plain text emails for a reason. This is a decision that we made early on, because ultimately, if you go back to our 3 guiding principles, which is the agent who has the most conversations win. What we found I'm a big fan of newsletters. We send newsletters. These designed emails are great for branding. They're great for building an association. They're great for kind of packing a lot of information, but they're really not designed for conversations. Think about it. When's the last time you replied to a brand's newsletter? Probably been a while. Whereas if you get an email, it's plain text, it feels like another human being wrote it, even though, let's say, the person sent it to thousands of people, it's designed to get someone to raise their hand. Now, we normally have 2 emails per week, but there is one exception. When there is breaking news, when there is a major change, like obviously as an example, we monitor the market very closely. So if, let's say, rates drop below a certain threshold, we'll both Canada and US will pay attention to that. And so you might see a bonus email that we'll write. Or, as everyone here knows, I'm on the road, 30, 40 cities a year. I'm talking to agents. Sometimes an agent comes up and goes, "Hey, Jimmy, I sent this email. It got me 3 listings. It's amazing. You showed it to me." And at which point I'm going to say, "Okay, everyone send this right now." So there are scenarios where we'll give you a bonus email or a bonus campaign. We're going to make sure that you're doing at least 2 per week. And if something happens where we say there's an opportunity, take advantage of it, we'll do that as well. All right, so let's get into text scripts, Hannah.
Yeah. So texting, we have a text script for you guys this week. We recommend you to aim to send 100 to 200 texts per week. And you're just going to use the weekly script, just like we said with the emails. And you're going to use this weekly script to follow up with people who opened a recent email and haven't heard from you directly in the past 30 to 60 days. Again, you're going to want to keep these short, personal, and relevant. And that's exactly what our scripts do. I'm going to take you guys through basically the fundamentals of the actual campaign, and then I'll let Jimmy throw in his input as well. The introduction section, I don't think I mentioned it with the emails, but these have really, really good content built into them. A lot of times it is referring, like this one is, to another campaign we sent. It was like the post-election text back in November, but there's also just really good wins that we put in there that people have had from the campaign. So don't skip over the introduction section. There's always good things built inside of there. Again, just like with the email, we have the before you get started text, or the before you get started section, a CRM that can send texts. Great to have, but again, just like with the emails, you don't have to have that. If you have a phone, you can send these texts. Again, with the 3 simple list prospects, your sphere of influence or your past clients, and then your entire database. And this one, as you can see, it's highlighted with that yellow bubble. So that is the prospects are the recommended audience for this campaign. And then we also recommend applying 2 filters. So engaged recently or not contacted recently. And then we also, again, it's always going to be a plain text format. There's not 50 emojis in these. There's no images attached. It's just plain text. Again, the how to execute section is underneath that. And just like with the emails, you're going to want to use this copy button. It's going to copy it to your clipboard, and then you can paste that into either your mass SMS or DM tool, or if you're just using your phone, just copy and paste it that way. And the only thing you're going to want to change in this one, it's super easy, is the first name of the person that you're reaching out to. So very minimal changing there. And then underneath that, we also give you the steps on how to send this text via mass SMS or DM tool. And then we give you the target audience one more time, which is going to be your sphere of influence or past clients. And there is the example of that text.
Yeah. And just to add something on this particular text, I wanted to speak to it. So we created this campaign back in a version of a campaign like this back in November of last year. And the results were so overwhelmingly positive. Meaning, I think just anecdotally, we probably booked well over 200 to 300 listing appointments from just this one campaign for a few people who were reaching out to me. And what it was, and the reason this is so important is because now that it's September 2nd, which I cannot believe December is now coming to an end, but now that September 2nd, like in the mind of the consumer, they're saying to themselves, like, I took the summer off. I didn't really, we were at the beach, we were having fun, all the big life decisions I kind of put on pause. Well, guess what? Now that the sort of the fall was about to start, they're now sort of analyzing, they're kind of in this discovery mode again. And so it's not the agent they know the most, it's the agent they talked to most recently that's going to get the business. And that's the challenge right now. Consumers are not loyal, folks. The average consumer knows more than 8 agents. If you're the person who's like the Johnny on the spot, who's there when they need to have a conversation, you got to put yourself in that pole position. And so this campaign, if you scroll to the bottom for me, Hannah, on this campaign, it's really designed to say, hey, listen, a lot of my clients took the summer off from thinking about real estate. This is what we call in the Exactly What to Say book that we wrote. Myself, Phil, and Chris Smith wrote now 5 years ago, which is the best-selling sales book in real estate, I think, history. Has over quarter million copies sold, specifically a sales book. It did so insanely well. This is what we call the "Show Me That You Know Me" line, which is, hey, a lot of my clients took the summer off. It's like, oh, I can relate to that. Now, this is the reason I'm reaching out. Now I'm starting to have a lot more conversations. Any plans you think I should know about? Now, so what I would say is, thank you, Jim. What I would say is this is a great campaign where I would send this to, yes, my prospects, yes, my sphere of influence, my clients, but also, when in doubt, if we create a campaign that you can send to your sphere, you can also send to your clients too. If you want to put, to your prospects as well. So if we create a campaign for your clients and your sphere, you really have nothing to lose texting this to someone you haven't met before. You can make some small changes, or you can send it as is. But Hannah called out 2 things that are really important. The reason why you send the weekly emails without fail is because it builds up engagement in your database, so that when you text them, you have a much higher chance of converting that into an appointment. I built an 11-person ISA team. We set, I want to remember, 4,000 to 5,000 appointments over the course of a 12-month period. And the one crazy learning we had, we had amazing ISAs. I have so much respect for that role. The one crazy learning we had was that texting someone who's not engaged is a categorical waste of time. You just have to have hundreds of attempts to get someone to raise their hand. But following up with someone who actually has engaged, opened up an email, clicked on an email, right? The likelihood of conversion was so much higher. So the reason why we love email marketing is because it makes prospecting that much easier. And so if you're not, so think about this not as like oh, I'll do texting some weeks, then emailing the other weeks. No, like they're supposed to work together like peanut butter and jelly. So hopefully that's helpful.
For sure. Now let's move on to number 3 of the big 3, and that is direct mail. So we recommend you send 1 to 2 direct mail campaigns per month. And we recommend 2 different types of direct mail campaigns. The first one being farm letters, and the second one being radius letters. Now, I want to give you guys an example of a farm letter. So I am going to copy the link to that really quick. So this is an example of one of our direct mail templates that is a farm letter, and it is the better than an iBuyer sell as is. So I'm going to go over just a few of the campaign details like I did before, and then let Jimmy come in at the end of that. So we have the introduction section again. Don't skip this. I know it's so easy to skip. We see the campaign. We're like, okay, let me get to the thing where I gotta put in the things. No, don't skip the introduction. There's a lot of good stuff inside of the introduction. And then underneath that, just like with the text, just like with the email campaigns, we have the before you get started section, and we recommend for the best results with our direct mail campaigns, you want to have these core lists ready. So your farm list, which this is the recommended list for this particular campaign, your radius list, and then your specialty lists. Underneath that, we have the how to execute section again, and this is actually a template that you guys are going to edit inside of Canva. So to do that, you'll just select Get Template, and this is going to open up a new tab where you can scroll down and select View Template, and this is going to open that up inside of Canva. And we do have some walkthrough videos for you guys. Right here, you can watch this video walkthrough. It's not this exact campaign, but it will give you an idea of how to edit this campaign inside of Canva. So I highly recommend you watch that. And then once you've edited your template, we also give you the instructions on how to submit that to a print shop. And then again, we give your target audience one more time, so you're not going to forget it. It is your farm. So I'm going to let Lee and Jimmy kind of give you an explanation on these lists that we recommend, because it's not always the same database or audience as text and email.
Yeah, so a couple things here. So direct mail is one of the most effective ways to get listings at a low cost. I did an analysis of this recently with my friend Katie Lucy, who sent out seven letters. She spent $4,300. She's going to end up getting a 32x ROI on the money she spent, and that's just today. She might end up actually getting closer to a 50 or 60x ROI. The reason that we have been so insanely effective with direct mail is because of a few reasons. Number one, we break direct mail up into 2 different buckets, which is the farm list. That's you identifying the people in your area that you want to get reach on a consistent basis, or we call the radius list. This is you just sold a house and I'm going to send 100 postcards around that house. Or I did an open house and I want to alert everyone that we had a lot of people coming through, so they might think about selling their house. And so I don't care if you've never farmed that audience. A radius list is saying something really relevant has happened near your house. That's why we're letting you know. And so as a general rule of thumb, I want you sending at least once a month to your farm. And then as it relates to a radius, it's going to be kind of on a case by case basis. I would like you to also do at least one of those campaigns, and I'll give you some examples in a second. At least one of those campaigns per month. You don't need a huge budget. That's the key. You could start off with a $500 a month farming budget and then work your way up to spending $5,000 a month, right? You don't need a huge budget. In fact, some of the biggest bang for your buck is some of these radius campaigns that we'll talk about here in a second. So let me give you an example of this. We have my friend Trey, who sent me a text a while back over the summer. He goes, Jimmy, I picked up 2 listings by sending 50 letters out after an open house. And so this is a perfect example of a radius campaign. He did an open house. He had about 7 people come through the open house. And of course, only one of them could buy the house. A lot of them want to put offers in. He told the families coming through who were unrepresented, saying, would you like me to contact the neighbors and see if anyone else is thinking about selling? They, of course, said yes. So he sent out a variation of a magic buyer letter, which we have a ton of them in Listing Leads that we've written. He's like, hey, listen, I just did an open house. I'm reaching out because I just did an open house in your area. We had 7 people come through. Unfortunately, we can only sell to one of those individuals, which is why I'm sending you this letter. If you're in your forever home, ignore this letter. But if you're open to the idea of selling, we got 6 people or 6 families who are interested in potentially buying in your neighborhood because they love this area so much. If you're interested in selling, give me a call. Here's my phone number. 2 listings, not appointments, 2 listings, 50 letters. Total cost was probably less than $50 on that campaign in a little bit of time. So what's so important about the way we think about direct mail is we want you to be consistent with the once a month farming campaign because we know how that compounds. But then we want you to take advantage of some of these magic buyer letter campaigns, open house campaigns, new listing campaigns. One of my favorite campaigns, Lee, is the campaign where I had someone send me a DM the other day. They go, hey, they should send me a picture of a check for like $23,000, and they're like, hey, thanks so much for the recommendation. And what they did was, which by the way, we didn't get a referral fee on that one, but what they did was they sent out, I'm about to go meet a potential seller. So hey, Lee, I'm going to be in your area next week because I'm meeting with one of your neighbors who's thinking about selling. And so, I'm already doing research on your neighborhood. If you'd like me to swing by and give you an updated home value, I'm happy to do so. Give me, here's my number. Feel free to shoot me a text. And this campaign was based off of the way that like the people who spray for pesticides and mosquitoes sell. Because I've experienced this firsthand, where like I tell the story, but like a guy knocked on my door wearing a bright green outfit. It was a Mosquitoes Joe outfit. And he goes, hi, sir, are you the homeowner? I said, yes, I am. He goes, I was just in the area spraying for mosquitoes. And I pause, he paused, and he goes, the mosquitoes are going to have to go somewhere. And then we both laughed, of course. But his line was, which I really love, which was, hey, I was already in your neighborhood. Hey, I was already at your neighbor's house. And so that campaign is a good example of radius search. So let me just recap that because there's a lot of information. We create a farming campaign for you every month that you can send to your farm. But when you have a great listing appointment, or you have a marketable moment with an open house, or you sell a house and let's say it breaks the records, turn that into a radius direct mail campaign. That's my advice.
Love that. There was another couple of questions I just wanted to tackle because they were super important to mention. There are postcards mixed in with some of these. People are asking for more postcards, which I've already passed along to the team as we're talking. Thank you guys for your great comments and notes. We will send out the recording. I will post it in the Facebook group of this when it's done. We want to make sure for that. We can get it emailed out to you ultimately, but I just want to get it in the Facebook group. I'm dropping a link to the Facebook group right now. And there's one other thing that I just forgot. So Jimmy, I'll hop back in if I remember it. I'm trying to tackle all these questions.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I know we had some housekeeping items here, but let me just recap what Hannah said there because we also have another huge announcement that we'll have at the end of today's session. So like let's talk about going into the next 120 days. Mm-hmm. What does success look like for you? Number 1, I want you on the campaign kickoff calls every Monday. Those are your accountability calls. That's getting you dialed in where you're making sure you're fully immersed in community. Give us just a few months and we will show you what you can do in that short amount of time. I've seen what we can do with 100 days. We got 120 days. So if you're in a position right now where like, Jimmy, I really just need more listings, just show up 1 hour per week. I'm telling you right now, you get a little bit of momentum. We're going to help you overcome any issues, any problems you have. We're going to get you into action. The second thing is make sure you are active in the Facebook community. I mean, Lee's in there, Hannah's in there, I'm in there, Lais is in there, the team's in there, dropping comments, sharing advice. We have our new ambassador program now. So we have our ambassadors who are jumping in there, sharing advice as well. Shout out to our ambassadors. Make sure that you're in that mastermind community. The more engaged you are, the better it will help your business. And I think the last thing is This is really designed to be, again, just more of a high level overview coming through the basics here. Hannah and Lee host this call every single Tuesday. And so if you want to get another refresher, or you want to sign your assistant up for this, or your marketing admin up for this, like, make sure you jump on these calls and they'll walk you through everything again. Lee, I know we had some more housekeeping here that I want to make sure we missed before we dive into today's last announcement.
Yeah, I think we're good on all of that. When we tackled a lot of stuff, we'll share the recording so you can keep it bite-sized as you go through it. Make sure I dropped a link recently to the Facebook group. Make sure you're in there, as well as the link to sign up for the campaign kickoff on Monday. So, but no, Jimmy, you're good to take it away. I think the biggest thing that we just wanted to reiterate was the consistency. Done is better than perfect. If you have to send out 3 texts from your phone instead of 0, that's how you win. Ship it. It'll work. You'll get addicted to doing it, and you'll be good to go.
Love that. So on that note, I think it was Steven at the very beginning who noted, who asked about our seller tool. So let me actually just back up for a second. How many of you right now, just by quick, Scott, thank you, Scott. I got the S right. Thank you, Nick. How many of you, by the way, you guys should all check out Scott's campaign he dropped in the mastermind group. I mean, amazing work. Scott, we're going to contract you to be another writer for the Listing Leads team. What is your, in the chat, let me know, what is your average days on market right now? Is it 15? Is it 30? Is it 60? Is it 90? Is it 120? And is it going up, by the way? Is it going up? Let me know in the chat. All right, like yes. Okay. So here's what we've seen. Right now, we know that 1 out of every, this is a mind-blowing stat. Hannah, you can stop sharing now. I'll share from now on. This is a mind-blowing stat. My friend Curtis over at Redx shared this with me. 1 out of every 4 listings is going to be another agent's opportunity. We're seeing the number of expired skyrocket. And the number one reason why sellers are happy or unhappy is really very little to do with the results that you achieve. It's rather the communication, the expectations they have. And so we built this tool called Beacon. And it's part of this larger vision we have, which if Listing Leads' job is to help you get listings, Beacon's job is to help you get credit for all the amazing work you do and to never let that listing expire. And actually, in the chat right now, let me know how many of you are currently sending out a report to your sellers every single week. Like sending them, hey, this is what we've done this week. You know, like here's the marketing, here's the results, and like look at the yeses coming in right now. And I'll tell you what we've learned, because we've been building this tool behind the scenes for the last 9 months, is that a few things. Number one, that it takes a lot of time to send out the weekly don't fire me reports, which is, I mean, like they got to gather all the data, all the information, they got to take screenshots, they're like jamming it into a Canva template. So that is a huge problem, number one. Number two, the issue that we see is that very rarely do you get a full scope of all the things that you're doing. Meaning that like you're usually leaving out a lot of information, or you don't have time to sort of find it all. And the third thing that we find is that once you've sold the house, you have no record of this. So you do all this marketing, all this promotion, and then I go and look at your listing presentation. It's been last updated 3 years ago. And so what we want to do is we wanted to build a tool that helped you communicate your value more clearly to your sellers. So number one, they appreciate what you do. Number two, it helps you differentiate yourself during a listing presentation. And number three, it ensures that your listings never get expired. And so let me just share my screen real quick. I'm going to walk you through this. So this is Beacon. We are currently in a closed beta for this. And the reason that we're sharing this is everyone who's part of Listing Leads is going to get the friends and family discount for Beacon. So you don't have to be a member of Listing Leads, but you get a benefit if you are part of the Listing Leads community. And so the way this works is every one of your listings will basically, you can come in here, you can create a beacon. And when you come in here and create a beacon, I'll give you an example of this. I'll go ahead and edit this. We'll give you the ability to connect your social media. So you can add any of your social media posts, like your Instagram Reels or your Facebook posts or your YouTube post or your TikTok post. You'll be able to add your own branding. You'll be able to add any kind of activity you've done for the listing, like a coming soon campaign or a mailer for just your open house or whatever that might look like. And what we'll do is we'll automatically start using AI to analyze and create a summary for you. Hey, this is what's been happening to your listing. Here's what's happening on Zillow. Here's what's happening on social media. Here's all the comps nearby. Now, this is the edit mode. This is the edit mode of the tool. This is what the report actually will look like. It's a beautifully designed report that highlights and showcases everything you're doing to help sell the home, including highlighting all of the marketing campaigns you've been performing and also all of the comps and also all of the activity. And so you can create a beacon in less than 10 minutes and you can update 1 and 2. And once you've created a beacon, I'll come in here and just show you this because it's a really powerful feature. I'll click on share and we'll create the messaging for you that's relevant for what's been happening right now with your listing. So you don't have to go to ChatGPT and like try to copy and paste the thing and then post it. Like we'll just create all that for you. So the executive summary, the comp summary, the client message, we're using AI to create all of that for you. So Beacon is a tool that is going to allow you to stay in communication with your sellers, help highlight and showcase everything you're doing, and just replace that 90 minutes or an hour you spend building these reports every single week. So hopefully you guys, and by the way, Nick, you're exactly right. Building the case, showing all the work you've done. Imagine getting a beacon when your home's been on the market for 60 days and there's literally 125 things that you've done. At which point, I think we can all say that like maybe it's the price. like look at all these campaigns. Maybe it's the price. And so, yes, David, this was what Meredith shared in a private group about Beacon. Yes, this is the exact product that we have built. Yeah, you can use. We have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. So, anyways, I want to give a quick shout out here. This is a quick plug. We will be releasing this starting next week. We are ready to rock and roll on this thing. Listing Leads member will get early access. I think we have now over 2,000 people on the wait list for this product. Listing Leads members will get early access to this as well, starting next week. And you guys will get the friends and family discount. It starts at $99 a month, and that includes up to 3 active listings, and then goes up at a reasonable price from there. So you're only going to pay for what you use with Beacon, but you will get a friends and family discount because I want to make sure the Listing Leads community, I'm going to help you get listings. I want you to keep those listings as well. So if you want more information about this, just stay tuned in the mastermind group. I will be posting that next week, but I just want to make sure we plug that lead before we're wrapped. Hannah, thank you so much for doing all the amazing work you're doing for our community. Lee, we are thrilled to have you as part of the Listing Leads team, and we will see all of you who registered next Monday for our very first campaign kickoff call. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.